Today we're going to discuss the sensitivity settings and changes made in the recent May update. The May update brought a lot of changes, basically everything we saw in the public test server, including changes to the sensitivity settings, were added on the live servers. But ever since the update, many of you guys have been confused and annoyed, let's say, at how different your controls are feeling and getting confused on what the new settings do. Not all of you, but some of you. In this video then, I'm going to go over all the settings available in the game now, show you what I have set mine to, although it is a personal choice, and tell you what you should do and not do to have your settings the same as pre-update. Plus, I do want to talk a little bit about the controls in general. Before we get into that though, a quick update on current game issues. Yesterday evening, or it was in the UK, PUBG Whale, the community coordinator, posted some info on the recent server issues, which is nice to see, at least some acknowledgement and communication from the devs. And here is what it says. After our May update, we have discovered multiple network-related issues. We apologize for the delay in our communication regarding these issues, but we want to let you know that we are working hard to get them fixed as quickly as possible. We would like to thank you for reporting these issues to us. The information supplied has been extremely valuable to our investigation. And here are the current issues that are being worked on. Some players are unable to ready up after completing a match when in a team. Some leaderboards are displaying no data. The game hub stats are not updating. Excessive queue times for Europe and Oceanic servers. And all players being set to the North America region by default is also listed, but that has been resolved. It then goes on to say, we're very sorry for the inconvenience caused. We're working hard to resolve these issues as soon as possible. And that was the message about recent issues. I've also been experiencing them, can't find any matches except for third-person squads and EU servers, which is very specific. I will keep you updated on any more info that gets posted. Sensitivity settings. Let's start off then by looking at the in-game setting menu. The gamepad settings should be about the same as they were before. Controller binding preset, I always have mine set to B. I personally don't like double tapping for scope. I don't tend to use ads all that often. That's really a personal preference on your end though, whether you want to have that as A or B. If you find you aim down your sights more than you scope, then you can set it to A or keep it at A. If not, then change that to B. Next on the list, the right stick and left stick dead zone. For those who don't remember this, in basic terms, is how much pressure or movement you need to put on your thumbstick for the game to register that movement. For example, if you have it set low, you shouldn't have to move your thumbstick very much at all for your controller to register the movement and for your game to respond to that movement. On the other hand, if you set this high, you're going to have a bit of lag time between moving your thumbstick and your character responding to that movement. Now, setting these to 0 can be a bit off-putting. Most of us have this set to 10 for both. Previously, we only had one option for dead zone, and that is one of the changes in the recent update. Now you can alter your right and left thumbsticks alternately if you find you use more pressure on one thumb over the other, but most of us just have this set to 10 for both. Next on the list is movement sensitivity. Movement sensitivity is a new setting in the update, and you're probably best to set this to 100, and there is a good reason for that. The setting determines how fast you move forward, backwards, and sideways, but it also controls you going from walking to running speed, and that's not the same as sprinting, by the way. Movement in PUBG and Xbox can be awkward at times, and setting this to 100 will make that upward walking to running movement and the change of direction movement much smoother. So it's a good idea for everyone to ramp that all the way up to 100 as far as it goes to get the game to feel responsive and free. Your vertical sensitivity percentage multiplier determines what ratio of vertical to horizontal movement you have. On default, or 100%, that gives you a 1-to-1 ratio uppy-downy movement to lefty-righty movement speed. Now I don't know why they can add two separate dead zone settings, but they can't split vertical and horizontal sensitivities. Anyway, the lower this number, the slower your vertical movement or up and down movement will be. And for me, I left that on default, it works well. In more traditional shooters, I would have that vertical lower so you can better control your aim. But in PUBG, there's a lot of hills or tall buildings, and so you often need to aim up or down quickly. Now, this setting is not really for setting your horizontal movement, it's to determine your vertical movement only. If you want to alter horizontal movement, then you can change your general sensitivity, and I have mine set to 9. I used to play with this as much lower, but I play a different way now where I aim with my crosshair more before firing, and that faster sensitivity allows you to 180 quicker and target faster, which I like. And I think a lot of the really good players will tell you that faster movement is always better. Aim acceleration should be set to 1 and turned on. Turning it off is going to make some drastic changes, and it's all going to feel a lot more like playing keyboard and mouse, which is not a good thing while using a controller, and that's really because the keyboard and mouse have different mechanics to a controller which is why you need some kind of aim acceleration on console and not have it turned off completely. A setting of 1 should give very quick reaction time, as there's very little lag in getting your aim up to full speed. Over the shoulder is ADS, or aim down sight. It's renamed in this update. I have this set to 6. You can increase it to more. There is a poll going around on the forums with a lot of you guys saying you want that higher than 10, but for now I have this set to 6 as I find that the best one for getting as many kills as possible. That just leaves us then with the final set of sensitivities for your scopes. The one-time magnification is your red dot and your holographic sights, which I have also set to 6. It really depends on your personal preference for sensitivities. I get kills with 6. You really need to test that out for yourself and see what works. For all of these, the higher the magnification, the lower I have set sensitivity, so I can make finer adjustments at longer distance, but some people prefer to do the opposite. Except for movement sensitivity and the sensitivity multipliers, all your other stuff can be set to what you had it pre-patch. Leaving those two settings at default should keep your game to what it felt like pre-update as well, but I do recommend ramping up the vertical sensitivity multiplier all the way up to 100 to make your game feel more fluid, and probably closer to what controller movement should feel like. That then is all the sensitivity settings available post-patch. What's new, what I have mine set to, and how to get it to feel pre-update. Now I think there's a larger picture here that is worth discussing, especially with the release of H1Z1, and that is controller optimization for consoles. It's been 5 months now, coming up on 6 months that Playerunknown's Battlegrounds has been in development for Xbox One. In that time, we have seen steps forward, but we've also seen many steps backwards. The game seems to be stuck in a stalemate right now, only made worse by the smooth, fluid, console-refined controls of H1Z1, which I have very much enjoyed playing. I know you guys watching this will be mixed on that, but it has really made me question if PUBG was released way too soon, seeing how well optimized those controls were on PlayStation 4. PUBG still feels closer to playing a PC game with a controller still than a AAA console title. That, along with the constant issues never being resolved, lack of content because of that focus on performance and bug fixes all the time. I mean, a good example of all these is the server issues mentioned earlier in the video. It's a reasonable question to ask, and that's what I hope you guys answer in the comments. Should the game have waited to release until right now, like H1Z1 did, and develop it a bit more? Or did they make the right decision to look at the lack of big games at Christmas last year and try to capitalize on that by releasing an unfinished game and to develop it over time like they have? I'll let you guys argue that out in the comments. Make sure you subscribe then with notifications enabled so you don't miss any of my future videos and so you can keep up to date on Playerunknown's Battlegrounds on the Xbox One. I've been Lunargaming, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.